You're putting yourself at risk right across the board for money. Money you won't give. It's about if you get lifed off. Trust me on that. And every one of you kids that's stepping into this gang mentality, this gang way of living, you're all at risk of getting yourself lifed off. And before you start getting deeper into that world and that, you need to really contemplate, is living this life worth spending 30 years behind bars? If you start at 16, 17, 18, 19, by the time you're 30, you have been involved in a couple of conspiracies. I don't give a who you are. You start in that game selling weed at 15, by the time you're 30 years old, you have been involved in some serious organised crime. It only takes them once to get you. One slip up in all them years and you're off for a 20. Gone. 20, 25, sat in a box surrounded by men whose heads have gone. It's not a nice place, mate. And with today's criminals, years ago when we were going to jail, the landings, out of 100 people on the landing, you'd have 2 suspects. Do you understand? You'd have 2 suspects on the landing mingling with you. You know, these suspects have harmed young boys, harmed young girls, harmed your nana while she was in bed. That type of suspect. Do you understand what I'm saying? These days, on a landing of 100 inmates, 40 of them are suspects. And there's 4 you can do about it. And you're mixing with them and you don't even know it until they pop up in the paper. It's what it's like in the system now. So use little young boys that go into a system and go onto a wing with that kid that's that way inclined, and him and his 10 mates are doing life, and they see you with your little lovely cat head. Trust me. Trust me on it, mate. Yes, Nicky Lee. Just come away from it. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm telling you how it is. That's the way it is in adult prisons. You have got little 21-year-olds getting wrote off. They can't speak about it, feel ashamed. You know, the gangbangers, they can't start telling their boys that they've just been rushed there. And there's loads of them kids in the system now, lifed off, holding the pocket of another lifer. Loads of them. So just choose a life and not the knife. Stay away from the drug dealing. If you've been in that, if you're 18, 19 and you've been getting lost in that little madness, come out of it, lad. You're wasting your time. You're not going to be the next Tony Montana. You're not going to be the next Curtis Warren. You know, you're going to be the next dickhead that gets lifed off. You're going to be the next gobshite that gets himself shot dead. You're going to be the next gobshite whose bird bangs someone behind his back because you're in jail. Don't need to tell you anymore, do I?
Say hello to the new iPhone.
The truth hurts, mate. How are you, Louis D?
And with Vodafone Exchange, say hello to a new iPhone every...
The truth hurts, mate. SFW. And if your bird is putting undue pressure on you, and this is why you're living that life, the bird off. If any girl has got a real care and love for you, she will be telling you to stop committing crime, stop dealing drugs, stop putting yourself at risk, stop putting your freedom at risk. That's what a real girl who's got your interest at heart will be telling you. And if you've got a bird round you and she's arguing with you because you're a drug dealing scumbag and she doesn't like it, stop it. You don't need any warnings. You've got it right in your face, screaming at you to stop what you're doing or it's going to go wrong. Stop it. You all get the warnings, you just don't heed them. In your little life, as you're doing what you're doing, you have got warnings coming at you thick and fast. You're not heeding them. That's why it's going to go wrong. Every one of you will get warnings, and they come in all different disguises and ways of coming at you. But they'll come at you, and you will be warned. And if you don't heed it, you'll suffer the consequences. So if you're in love with this bird, and you've got your little coke line, and you're doing your things, and your bird's not happy, and your bird's giving you shit, and you're arguing with your bird now over this shit, you need to take that as a warning, not from the bird. The cosmos is using the bird as a way of getting to you, to warn you. And if you don't heed that, you go up, you need to be heeding the warnings. It's like when I speak to you on this level, I know I'm in the mind of 2 or 3 of you dealers right now. The fact I'm in there means that this is for you. You need to listen to what I'm saying to you right now. You need to pack that shit in, because in the next 2 years, you're going to jail if you don't. Now you've sat there and took that personally. You have had the warning. You have took the warning on board. You have heeded the warning. If you don't act on the warning, you're going to jail. Now if you're there, and I'm speaking this shit, and it's just going over you, happy days, you haven't had no warning. You know, it's not for you. You haven't received shit from me. But if you sat there and you're taking what I'm saying as if it's directly for you, that's the warning, and you need to heed it, otherwise you're going to jail. And just like me, I had opportunities in my little criminal life where I should have went bang. I had opportunities to just go boomf. Do you understand? And never took them. Every single one of yous is going to get opportunities to just go boom. Take it. Take it, mate. Doesn't matter how much money's involved or how much money you might make or you're going to make on this last move. If you get that gap to jump, go with it. And most of the lads that end up in the system dealing drugs years later, trying to do what I'm doing now, keep yous away from that bullshit, prevent yous getting in that way of life, they'll tell you the same. They know, they can recognise now when they look back that through their little career as a criminal, they have had gaps of opportunity where they could have come away from this shit and went in a completely opposite direction. Every one of yous who's tapping into that bullshit, you have got opportunities to put down your phones, put down your knives and crack on in a different way of life. Every single one of yous are going to come across these gaps, these periods in your life. Grab it and can go with it. Take that risk. It's like a leap of faith. You've never done it before, you've never tried it. Give it that leap of faith. If it's up, you can just revert back to your poisonous, dirty ways, can't you? But if it doesn't go up, that leap of faith pays off, doesn't it? You're going to get loads of leaps of faith in your life, people. It's on 1% this phone. That's why it's probably playing up. I'll try and get the power on it, but if it goes off, I'll just come back on later on. But let's just try and keep this live going as it's getting a little bit inspirational now, isn't it? LFC, I'm sound, lad. How are you, Sean, mate? You good? Nice to see the Scousers kicking in. You know, a lot of people have got the opinion that Scousers hate me. You know, because they come on and they see Scousers giving me shit. What you need to understand, my people, is not all Scousers deal drugs. Do you understand what I'm saying? Liverpool's not awash with dirty, dying from drug dealers. It's got about 5% of the whole population dealing in drugs. You know, so there's loads of Scousers that appreciate me, know me, grew up with me. They're probably just sat there observing how I'm getting through this shit. There'll be a lot of Scousers out there that was fully expecting me to crumble 5 years ago. I'm still here strong as they've crumbled. They're in awe of me. This isn't me licking my own arse, I'm telling you how it works. There is people in the city of Liverpool for the past 8 years that have gone out their way to cancel me out. And they're sat there with their heads absolutely battered that I'm still here, relevant, able to string a conversation together. Does the fin heads in, mate? Imagine that though, imagine targeting someone for so long and you just can't break them. Imagine investing money, investing in people, getting people to target him, doing mad shit, trying to break him, and you just cannot break him. Imagine what the return's like. Imagine what the karma's like. Do you understand? So say you're sat there and for 10 years behind the scenes I've been going all out to break you. Every little move, every little tactic, assassinating your character, attacking your mental health, you know, attacking your honesty, all these mad things that they do to try and cancel you out. Imagine how I'd be feeling if I'd invested 10 years trying to shut you down and I just cannot do it. Imagine the karma. Imagine the heavy feeling I'd be getting back off that. Fucked in the head, won't I? That's what all these rats are. You know, who's been trying to cancel me out for years and years. I'm still here, strong. My light shining bright. They're all dull. Don't let no one knock you off your path. No one. You're given a path. If you get knocked off it, you will eventually end up back on it. You just will have missed a decade or two. So you won't achieve what you will have achieved if you would have stayed on the path. That path you're given in life, that path you pick, if you choose that knife life, that's you. That's your path of life. Do you understand? You can't jump off that path of life. You remain on that path of life right through it. The only thing is, if you use your head, you start conducting yourself differently in that life. You can't leave it, you're there. You're just conducting yourself differently now. Same with that life. If you're in this life, you're going to have people, although it's negative, although it's a bullshit life, you're still going to have people trying to derail you. Same in that life, big positive life, you're going to have people trying to derail you off your path of life. Whatever walk of life you're in, you're going to have individuals trying to prevent you from progressing to the level of consciousness that you're able to do. And these paths, once you've chosen, as I say, that's with you for the rest of your life. And if you let these dickheads knock you off your path at 21 and you're off that path till 35, you don't get onto another path of life. You end up back on this path of life. It's just it hasn't been as successful. It hasn't been as affluent or as, you know, rewarding as it would have been if you would have stayed on the path and didn't let these dickheads kick you off it. So yet you fall off your path of life. The first thing you want to do is get back on it. If you're not on that path of life, you're not achieving all in it. When you're on it, you're achieving in it. Regardless if it's negative or positive. You know, if you're on that criminal path and you're on that path of life, you're still setting yourself goals. You're still setting yourself targets. You're still trying to achieve certain shit in that way of life. And you have got people that are trying to prevent you from achieving it. They need to knock you off your path. If you're knocked off your path, instead of you sticking to your path and becoming a millionaire in 10 years' time, now you're not, because you fell off your path for 8 years. You will never be a millionaire in 10 years' time. You're on the ball. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So if someone knocks you off the path, take it on the chin and get right back on it as soon as possible. Don't go missing. Don't get lost anymore. The person that's knocking you off your path, knock them off out your life. They're hindering your progression. That can be a mate. That can be a girl. That can be a football team. Anything that is knocking you off your path, remove it from your life. Stick with your path of life. And at the end of it, all the rewards you've ever wanted come at once. Just got to stick on that path of life, mate. And as I say, pick the positive path. Less trauma. Less sticky situations. Less attacks on your loyalty. You know, all... You know what that life's like. I don't need to keep on reiterating it to you, do I? You know what that life's like. If you don't, it's because you're young. You know, but you look out there. If you're 18, 19, 17, whatever, round them ages, you look out there and you look at people like me. Yeah, you've got knobheads calling me a dickhead now because I let them call me a dickhead. It's the only reason they're calling me a dickhead. If I was out there seeking revenge and retaliation on knobheads, no one would be calling me a dickhead. So I let people form that opinion of me. But you see, me, when I was active, all these knobheads would not say a word to us, to me, not us, because it weren't us, it was me. So when you've got someone that's had all them dangerous firms in your city shook to fuck all the lives, I'm not just saying for a little bit of the lives, I'm saying shook to the core all the lives. When you've got someone like me sitting here telling you, listen lad, that life is shit. It's not because I'm a shithouse. It's not because I'm a victim. It's because I'm a clever thin man that's woke up to the bullshit and he's trying to prevent you getting lost in the bullshit he's just woke up off. It's as simple as that. I don't gain nothing. I don't get money. I don't get paid for sitting here trying to get into your brain, trying to convince you to swerve that lifestyle. How many times have you heard me speaking on my lives trying to convince people who don't even know I'm there to not tap into that lifestyle? Every time. Every day of my life I'm screaming, trying to educate kids to stay away from gang culture. Stop losing your identity. Remain in touch of who you are. Don't give your identification up to that pot-smoking gang leader. Stay in touch with yourself. Understand how you feel. Understand what type of girl you prefer. Understand what type of films you like. What type of music you like listening to. These are all your unique characters that you're sacrificing for your gangs. You used to have a boss little dress sense, lad. You had this little style going on with you. You had some nice, you had a boss, wicked, unique dress sense. Here you are a year later, just dressed in black like all of them. Your uniqueness has gone out here. Do you understand? You need to keep that individuality. Stop giving it up like it's nothing. If you give your individuality up as a young lad, you're a sheep for the rest of your life. You're a follower. You're being led astray by the next leader in command. If you want to be a leader, this is the difference between the sheep and the leader. The leader is still an individual. The sheep are a group. It's the only difference. So if you want to be a leader, remain in touch with yourself. You don't have to lead that football team onto the pitch. You don't need to lead that army to the death. You're a leader in your life. There's only one person that can control where your life is going to go, and that's you. You're the boss in this situation. You're the CEO in this situation. It's entirely up to you where you lead your life to. If you give it up, you know, you're led astray. You're a follower. You're getting told what to do, when to do it. You keep your identity intact. If you're standing with this group of kids and one of these kids slaps that bird and this group's laughing, but you're feeling like that's wrong, good on you. Stay there with that thinking. Don't jump over there to that thinking. Understand what's right and wrong in your head, not in their heads. A lot of you are going to sacrifice a lot of things because you're aligned to this group. You'll only go to the places this group's allowed to go because this group can't go to there or there because that group's there. So instantly you're missing out on all sorts of things in your city. That's why you find your city shit, because you can't go and explore it, because that shit gang you're involved with have got problems all over the place. This is what I'm saying. Keep your identity intact. Don't lose yourself. You hear loads of people over, as you're going to grow up, you're one of their loads of people. I lost myself. I got lost in life. And that's exactly what they do. They lose the identity. When you lose your identity, you lose your sense of purpose. You lose your moral compass. You lose your consciousness of thinking. You know, depending on what group you give your identity to, depends on how you're going to think and how you're going to behave. If you give your identity up to that group of bankers, if you mix with that group of bankers and you start identifying yourself like that group of bankers, well, there you go. You're being led, but you're being led in a positive part of life, aren't you? Yeah. If you go and chill with them gang of snooker players and you absorb yourself with them snooker players, you will become a snooker player. This is the way it is. If you go and sit down there with the jailbait and you're mixing with the jailbait and you're acting like the jailbait, guess what? You're the jailbait. What's jailbait? Them kids dressed in black dealing drugs. That is jailbait. Keep your kids well away from them. Trust me. Honest to God, mate, keep your kids away from the jailbait, and you can spot them a mile off. Anyway, it's 1 o'clock, people. Been on since about 9:30 this morning. I haven't had one violation. I haven't had no warning. So obviously, we've hit the right notes this morning. Yes, Sarah. True there, Daz. Always, mate. Experience, observations, knowledge. Just pass it on. Some of you will take it on board. Some of you won't. Some of you will have the heart and the nutrition to challenge how you've been living, to challenge how you've been thinking for the past couple of years. Some of you have got the willpower and the strength to get through it and change the whole dynamics of your life and your mindset. And some of you just haven't. Some of you are going to have to learn yourselves off your own mistakes and get on with it. There's people out there with a brain that can look at people and go, well, he's up there, he's up there, and he's up there. It's in my own interest not to up there like him, up there like him, up there like him. So there's clever kids out there that can look at people's mistakes and learn off them. And then there's others out there, just like myself, that have got to be hurt to learn. You've got to be hurt off the situation to learn from the situation. And there's loads of yous out there. You're not going to learn that you're living a shit life until you get 4 years slammed in that cell. Then you're going to learn, and then it's going to be too late.